Hey, I'm gonna. Oh, God, that's a bad angle. Um, shit. Hold on. I don't want to rotate it. Fuck me. Okay. That's as good as it's gonna get. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna do this live because I just feel like it. Um, so I had made a post on my Facebook. Oh, wait a minute. What on earth? Hold on a second. I'm fucking around with the settings here. Oh shit. Okay, I'm fucking this up already. Okay. So I had made a post on my Facebook saying that I wasn't gonna do social political commentary stuff anymore, and I wanted to explain that a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm really having a hard time. I'm really having a hard time setting this to where I like the angle. Okay. So. God, that's terrible. Buy a cheap tripod for my phone? I don't think I want to buy a tripod for my phone. Okay. I hate the internet. I don't hate it as a tool. I hate it as a tabloid. I hate it as a source of credible information when it comes to some things. I hate YouTube, especially for that. God, where do I start? A buddy of mine a while ago, I'm not going to tell this right. I'm not going to tell this story correctly, but it's close to this. Sent me something that said like some movie or game or something there was a uproar over it, and I clicked on the article or whatever it was, and I looked down and I saw that it was a bunch of people said things on Twitter, like random people that just like me, anybody said something on Twitter, and I said something to the effect of they don't know what an uproar means because 5 people on Twitter. First of all, Twitter doesn't matter and doesn't count as anything, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as anybody should be concerned. But he said something like, "Well, no, it's all these people on Twitter, and there's a lot of people on Twitter that were saying these things and were upset about whatever it was that they were upset about, some SJW thing or whatever it is." And then it was like, "Oh, and this other thing, it's not what it was, like BuzzFeed or something said something about it too." And I'm like, "Why are we worried about what Twitter and BuzzFeed are saying? They don't matter." But unfortunately, they don't, but people act like they do. And I hate that. It's everything that I hate. I hate Sargon of Akkad's channel. I hate Teal Deer's channel. I hate Destiny's channel. And not because of what they say or think, but because of what they are and what those kind of channels represent. At least to people who get into that sphere. I think that we live in a culture, especially online, that has a very difficult time taking things with a grain of salt. And I think that the things that I hate the most, like in this world, there isn't much that I actually hate. I hate clicks. I hate reactionaryism, I guess, if that's a word and it's not. I hate overreaction, and I hate ascribing way too much credibility to someone because you like what they say or how they've said something or how they've presented something when it comes to things that direly matter, like our governments and politics and that sort of thing. And to look and see myself doing the same thing or trying to when it comes to the political stuff or trying to do it in a different way. But I think it was Steven Spielberg said that you could never do an anti-war movie, not because you couldn't write an anti-war story or have an anti-war message, but because he said the camera, the big screen glorifies the camera. He said tends to glorify everything that it is. And I think when you see that little box that says, you know, how many genders are there, and then a little title, and then stand and stand, like it's a brand, like it's a thing that matters, like it's a thing that's important, like it's something that anybody should be going to first to help form any kind of opinion. To me, I'm not going to do that anymore. That it's just part of the problem. That's the problem. The problem isn't SJWs or fascists or whatever it is. That's the problem. That's why we're in this. To the degree that our world is politically and socially tumultuous, that is a big part of the reason why. And I don't want to be a part of that anymore. And I don't think that I'm acting like I'm some big YouTuber. Or like anybody gives a shit. That was part of my thing too, is that, well, nobody's going to watch it and nobody's going to give a shit anyway. But it's the principle of the thing. I'm doing something that I hate. I'm contributing to something that I think is fucked and is fucking everybody. So, not going to do that anymore. I really want to finish the City of Angels review. That's the thing that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be working on in the future. And I'm going to do it when I get around to it and when I feel like it, because I'm not getting paid and I'm not going to ask for money because I don't want this to be my job. This was something, there's a reason why my brother and I never tried to be red letter media or anything like that. And especially him, I pushed him into starting a Patreon and going back on YouTube, and he didn't want to do it, and eventually he stopped. But I pushed him because I thought that he had really good stuff that deserved more notoriety than it had. But I'm starting to understand now why he stopped doing that, and why he didn't want to have a Patreon, and I'm starting to come to terms with why I don't want to have. Even if like 2 people gave me gas money would be great, but if I did that, I would feel obligated to do things, and I really just want to hang out. Hey Zeph, I'm talking about my channel and that I'm not going to do social politics stuff anymore because I'm not a credible source of information. I believe in what I think, as does everybody. Make a point about that. I said that I probably made people angry by saying I hate Sargon of Akkad's channel and I hate Teal Deer's channel and I hate Destiny's channel. But the thing is, and I hate Rush Limbaugh, which really Sargon of Akkad is just Rush Limbaugh, except he's a guy who in his house that has this platform that can get to anybody anywhere. But and I don't mean any offense by that. I don't mean to. I'm not criticizing his ideas or anything When I say that, I mean that Rush Limbaugh, who is Rush Limbaugh? He's a guy that's famous for saying things that people like to hear and agree with, but he doesn't know anything. He doesn't. William F. Buckley went to Harvard and went through a process of getting published and wrote books. Noam Chomsky went to MIT and went through the process. There's no process to be a radio show host or a YouTube talk show host, but we treat it like it's the first step in forming or validating or invalidating opinions, and that's a problem to be solved. Uh, if if you want to, not you personally, but if one wants to form an opinion about a government policy or a candidate or something like that, go to your government website, go to the candidate's website, read the stuff yourself. Don't click on one of my videos. Don't click on Sargon of Akkad's video. Don't click on Destiny's video, and have that be your first, not you personally, anybody watching, but you know what I mean. Now have that be your first foray into forming or validating or invalidating an opinion, because it's just more of this. That's all it is. It's just this. But we treat it like it's this. The thing about the camera glorifies everything it sees. That when you see that little box, especially if it's got, because my shit is amateur, but especially if it's got good sort of production quality, good for YouTube anyway, it has this veneer of credibility. It has this that it looks credible. And when I say credible, I don't mean right or wrong. I mean should not be should be taken with a grain of salt and should be more for entertainment purposes than anything else. I love Potholer54. Love that channel. But it's entertainment. It's what my philosophy teacher referred to as edutainment. I mean, he didn't mean that in a good way. So, anyway, I think I've made my point, or I think I've got my point across. That's why I'm not going to do that stuff anymore. I'm just doing something that I hate and being something that I hate. I'm going to read comments here. I understand where you're coming from and why you want to end the social politics on the channel, and the comments all disappeared. Oh, there it is. Hey, what's up, Artistic Layman? Whoa, why was the message retract? Oh, Artistic Layman, I hope you retracted that message yourself, because I don't know what happened. Hello, love Potholer too. At the same time, wouldn't you like to make a difference by making efforts to... Oh, there you go. Wouldn't you like to make a difference by making efforts to normalize the views you agree with? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't want to Well, I'm not a credible source of information. I didn't even go to college. I've read philosophy books. I've read books about government. I read Mortimer Adler and stuff like that. But don't go to me to normalize anything. Don't go to anybody on YouTube to normalize anything. That should be the last place you go to. This is the McDonald's of political thought. No. That's why what you the very, very kind, very, very nice person, Rocker Dax, very, very kind and nice person. That's exactly why. No. So what will you do now? I'm going to do the City of Angels review. I really want to talk about Stephen Dollins and Prophecy Club. Prophecy Club was a thing that I watched because back when, in the dinosaur times when I was a teenager, we didn't have YouTube. We barely, even if you had cable, if it was really late at night, unless you had like the good shit, which we didn't, you would have nothing to watch if it was like 3 a.m. So a lot of the stuff that you could watch was like religious shows, and they were weird religious shows, and Prophecy Club, and especially the Stephen Dollins episode, was very, very weird and wonderful in its weirdness. And he talked about video games and Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and stuff like that, and how it was satanic, and in a really, really, the guy's hysterical. I really want to do that series with my buddy Andrew. That's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be focusing on, and funny stuff, and live streaming and gaming and stuff. Because that's this kind of stuff that belongs on something like YouTube. Not things that are dilated, not things that you really should be going to vetted, credible sources for, or at least the sources themselves. Like I said, like the candidates' websites, and read the actual policies and read the legislation that's going through your Senate or or whatever it is. So that's my deal. But that's what I want to be doing. Just funny stuff and reviews, and overexcited reviews. I really want to do more of those. I have 3 of those in mind that I think would be pretty funny. Ironically, it should be someone like you who people listen to. You can't point them to good, real sources that they may not know about, e.g. Adler. I mean, I can say, read We Hold These Truths or something like that. I can say that, but guys, I shouldn't. It's just I would be part of the problem. If I say, hey, go to Stand and Stan's channel, and he's going to tell you all about why you should read more and more of that. It's not my... We put way, way too much stock in the average shithead like me. Way too much stock for things that are direly important. We put way too much stock in the average thought that pops out of somebody's head, the average first take that somebody gets when they hear somebody say something. So, no. I'm not going to you for information, but I think political commentary has its place. You could stay in that place if you wanted. It's just blabber. Guys, it's just blabber. It's just a bunch of blabber. It's not even political commentary. It's just your own, my own take. Here's how I do a video, right? I work 80 hours a week. I work 7 days a week. I work insane amounts of hours. So when I'm at work, I have to keep myself sane, so I got to keep my brain going. So, oh God, I apologize for that. I apologize. So I do that. That's what YouTube is. So I'm like, okay, I want to get worked up about something. So I turn on Sargon of Akkad or Destiny or whatever the fuck, and I say, well, who said something who said something that irritated somebody? And whoever it is I'm asking will tell me, and I listen to that video, and then my brain reacts to it, and then I fuck around on my phone's notebook, and then I say it into the fucking microphone, and then there's a video. That's how simple it is. It's stupid. I mean, I stand by everything that I've said, and I don't think that anything that I've said has been particularly wrong or particularly controversial, really. At least relatively speaking. But it's just, if I had enough time and money, I could go and cherry pick a bunch of statistics, and everybody thinks, if anybody puts any kind of statistics on a video, that's like automatically, that's another thing that really inflates the credibility of these things, because the people who are doing that are not statisticians. And the stuff that I've seen where say, oh, this guy really has the statistics. Like Destiny talks a lot about statistics. You just like fucking know anything about you. If you're not a statistician and like, for lack of a better word, trained in that kind of thing, you can end up cherry picking just off the top of your head. I mean, you go looking for something that supports what the conclusion that you want, and you can find it. It's not a Hold on a second. At this point, political news. Oh, this is what's up, Artistic Flame? At this point, political news is only about Russia, Trump, so there is really nothing to comment on. I wouldn't know, dude. I wouldn't know. You have a point about statistical bias. I have one study, therefore you're wrong. It's a big problem on YouTube. Crowder is the Empire statistical bias. That's another thing, because that's exactly Stephen Crowder. Oh, that's the thing. Change my mind. Oh God, let me say something about that now that I'm being honest and putting it all out there. Okay, change my mind is false. Is a false statement. Change my mind is a it's a scam. It's a scam. The sign shouldn't read change my mind. The sign should read I'm a professional media personality that does this 24 hours a day with a fact-checking crew and a producer and all that stuff. You're a kid who's probably just got into college, who just fell off the turnip truck. So this is already a one-sided affair. And it shouldn't read change my mind. It should read, I'm pretty sure you're going to say these, I'm pretty sure you're going to use one of these 5 arguments that anybody who's just fallen off the turnip truck is going to use, and I'm going to give you my pre-rehearsed the argument that I was inoculated against for your argument, and I'm going to throw that out there. It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. It is not an actual... It's like, oh, I'm anti-SJW. They don't want to have a conversation. I'm going to have a conversation, and I'm going to allow you to try and change my mind and give it. But that's not what it is. That's a lie. That's a lie. It's a pre-constructed. They know what topic they're going to talk about. He knows what topic he's going to talk about. And he's already gotten all the he's already constructed the debate in his mind, and he's talking to 20-somethings who don't know anything and who have no. Harlan Ellison once said, "Never get in an argument with somebody who has a microphone if you don't." And it's not that they don't literally both have a microphone, but he's the host. It's his thing. I don't know. It's a complete and utter bullshit, and it's got to stop. And I don't want to be a part of that, even as little small time me. I'm not doing it anymore. It reminds me of Ray Comfort when he interviews college students about evolution. It's the same thing. That's because it's exactly what it is. That's because it's exactly the same tactic. It's just a tactic. It's just a tried and true tactic. It's dumb. They always pick on the kids, lol. Yeah, I know, right? Because kids are kids who just got into college, and it's their first social experience, and it's their first political experience. That's a tough thing, man, because it's really your first social it's really your first social responsibility, and your first God, I've constructed that in my head and now it's left me. It's you've got all this freedom for the first time, and all this responsibility for the first time. It's a real catch-22, and that's why you see the college kids and you watch the SJW cringe videos and they're all yelling and screaming, and that's why, because it's not because they're gonna be like that in 10 years. It's because this is their first foray into everything in life. For you, generally speaking. So, I hope that if you don't, I don't think anybody really gave a shit about my political stuff anyway, but this is just this is also just a rant about how I feel about the internet in general when it comes to that kind of thing. So if you don't like my decision, I hope you at least understand it. I pray for the day Potholer and Crowder finally discuss climate change. I wish. Yeah. See. Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah. Finally. Yeah, Steven Crowder encountered Potholer 54. Encountered somebody. He picked on someone his own size, actually bigger than him. He talked to someone. That's what happens when somebody like Steven Crowder talks to somebody who knows what they're talking about and who's an adult like him, who also has a platform like him and who knows what they're talking about. They back down. They don't want to talk to them because they're not trying to change their mind. They don't want their mind changed. Oh, I completely get it, Stan. I think it'll be better. At the very least for your mental health. It's not even just mental health. I can make 100 videos about like this one right now because I'm sort of hypocritically talking about criticizing other people's videos, and I'm gonna stop making my own. It's not that. I don't mind hearing. I watch like anything on YouTube, and it doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that people give it more credit because it's on this. That's what bothers me. People give it more credit because it's on this. This has too much credibility. This that I'm doing right now, oh God, I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. That I just did. This that I'm doing right now is too easy. Going back to something Harlan Ellison said, I thought about a lot about this. Harlan Ellison is ironically one of the biggest influences for me to stop doing this. He was talking about writing. He was talking about word processors. He hated word processors. He said that word processors were like the death of creative writing. He said if you're gonna write, you sit down at a fucking typewriter and it's a job, and you sit there and you work. He said you hear the clackety clack sounds, and if you fuck up, you start over, and it gives you that you cut your teeth on it, basically. He said on a word processor, you sit down and you take a shit, and you take it's something to the effect of you just take a big shit, and you know, and if you don't, you just erase and just cut and paste and copy and paste and all that shit. This is too easy. This doesn't require any work. What I'm doing right now, I pushed a button, and now I'm talking to you, which is cool. That's cool. I like you guys. I like talking to people. One of the reasons that I do this little dog and pony show is that I love talking to people. But when I'm making a video and I'm like, let's talk about immigration. Here's what I think about immigration. That's not a dialogue. And it's not, and this isn't even this isn't an important dialogue. This is a cool thing for people to be able to just shoot the breeze about things, and that's really cool, and it has its place, and I love it, and I love people, and I love talking to people. But like I said, not the first or the second or the 500th. This is the end of the process of forming opinions or validating or invalidating and that sort of thing. This is not the place to do that. So I'm gonna read some more. Do you watch any Spanish or Chinese shows on Netflix like no, I don't. Should I? I just watched I just got done with Disenchantment. I really liked that show. So what did you say you're going to be doing videos on instead? Oh, I'm going to... so I did the Crow City of Angels review, the part 1. I'm doing it retro style because I don't have a lot of time to do it. I can do part 1, part 2, part 3 fairly quickly. And do that. So I'm going to do funny movie reviews of weird movies that I think deserve a little bit more attention, or that were funny to me or important to me. Oh God, sorry. And there's a series that I really want to do about the Prophecy Club, and a guy called specifically, at least the first one, a guy called Stephen Dollins. I really want to. Where's my cat scratched me? Damn. I really want to talk about that because it's funny and weird and awesome and bizarre, and it was the most bizarre thing I had seen when I was like, was it 18 or whatever. Amusing Ourselves to Death by Neil Postman explains this in regards to television. Yes, I know, and it's the same. It's that except worse because this is. Oh God. Sorry. Because shit like that can happen, but you're still given a lot of credibility because you're on the thing. I haven't seen Blade Runner 2049 yet. God, I want to and I need to. Um, what was I saying about TV? Yeah, like the O'Reilly Factor and Keith Olbermann and fuck, those are just talk shows. And that's another. I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff. I hated that stuff back then. I hated that stuff before there was a YouTube, and I hate it even more now because that's all this is. And it would be one thing if there were if the expectation were that's all this is. Like I said at the beginning of this thing, I think we live in a culture that has a very difficult time taking things with a grain of salt. When it's on something like this, when it's on a screen, and yeah, I hate all that shit, man, and I don't want to be that, and I don't want to do that. It would just be more of that. Really look at any of my videos about that, and it's just more of that. And like I said, I believe what I say, and I stand by everything that I say, and I think it was well presented. I really like the one about like gender and whatnot, but fuck me if it's not just. I don't want to. When there's a grease fire, you don't want to use water, right? I don't know. Anyway, I'm probably gonna get going here because I'm really, if you can't tell, I'm pretty tired. So, anybody have anything else they want to like ask or say or? Anything? Are you gonna delete your old videos? Oh no. That would be what do they call that? Revisionist history? No. Oh, Davis. Hello, Davis Arini. Oh, Davis Arini's here. Now I have to talk more. Davis, I was just saying that I'm not gonna do political stuff on my channel anymore because I'll give you the quick version. I don't think that. Boy, where should I start, guys? Should I start with Harlan Ellison, or how should I ease into this? Because it runs the risk of feeling like a criticism to people like you, Davis, and it is not that at all. It's not a criticism of anybody. It's a criticism of this kind of platform. I think that here's where I'll start it. I think you should probably just edit this video down so they can see it later. Yeah, maybe. I'll give you the quick version because it bears mentioning more than once. I think that the YouTube and the internet in general and blogs and that sort of thing are they are too easily confused with we give them way more credibility. It's not just the politics, dude. It's I don't care. People have all kinds of different political views. I watch you. I watch Sargon of Akkad. I watch Destiny. I watch all kinds of stuff. I watch myself. It's not that, dude. It's how much credibility we give things like YouTube. We give it way too much credibility. We give anything that's on a screen generally way too much credibility, but especially now in this day and age, we give YouTube. There's a perceived credibility. And this is not anybody's fault. This isn't like, oh, the kids are ruining everything. I'm not saying that. This is something that's it's just a perceptual thing on everybody's part. I had made the example earlier in this video that Steven Spielberg said that once that you couldn't make an anti-war movie, even if you tried, because the camera tends to glorify everything that it shows. Just the fact that it's up there on that big screen is going to just by default, by accident, glorify everything. So even if you're like me, and you're just like, hey, this is just what I think, I had said earlier too that I think we live in a culture that has a very difficult time taking things with a grain of salt, especially when it's on something like YouTube. So the short version is, that's my explanation, and I don't want to contribute to that anymore. I don't want to contribute to that sort of thing. Don't drink Pepsi. People think about Pepsi. Don't think of an elephant, right? That kind of thing, sort of. But it's more just the fact that this phenomenon of this very quick and easy. I had made an example before too of Harlan Ellison once said that using a word processor is too easy. It doesn't require work. If you're going to be a writer, you need to use a typewriter. So if you fuck up, you have to start over and that kind of thing. I think it's something. There's something to be said about the fact that all I did was push a button on my cell phone and I'm broadcasting. And because I'm broadcasting, it doesn't look like it runs the risk of appearing to be more important than it actually is. And I don't like that. I think that's the problem. I think that's a huge problem, if not the biggest problem in our culture today. The children of Kali Yuga want to fight and destroy. We must step back and work upon building. Forgive me, was that a quote from someone? Sorry, dude. I'm probably dumb. I don't know what that was a reference to. But all the best, mate. Always enjoyed your content and shall continue to do so in whatever form it takes. Yeah, I'm gonna just do reviews of stuff, and Kali Yuga is the death phase of civilization in Hinduism. Oh, I don't know anything about Hinduism. I don't think we're in a death phase. I really don't think that things are as dire as people think. That's another weird thing. All this stuff about, like, I don't know. Everybody wants to fight and be right and be popular and be egotistical. Even if they do, they can fight and be right and be egotistical and have an actual degree. I mean, I said before, death phase is good. Winter comes before the spring. Oh, okay. I said before, oh God, I'm getting really tired. William F. Buckley went to Harvard and had to go through the process of getting published before he got any notoriety and credibility. And was it Noam Chomsky went to MIT and had to work to get. There's just. Yeah, you can do that, but you have to have something other than the ability to turn on your cell phone. Not you personally, or me personally, or anything. Who am I? But you have to have something other than the ability to push a button and turn on your fucking cell phone. That's the problem. Whether you're egotistical or not, you can be the nicest guy in the world. I think I'm a pretty nice guy. I don't think I'm that egotistical, but it's not. Doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's not. This is not important, and we put way too much importance on it. Here I am repeating myself again and again and again, but I think it bears mentioning because that's, if I say nothing else, that's the only thing I want to make a video about. Fuck YouTube. Not fuck YouTube, but fuck the perceived importance of people on YouTube just because they're on YouTube. So, not you, Davis. You're an exception to that. How you doing, man? If I hold the phone comfortably, it covers up the fucking here. There, that's comfortable. Of course. Good things are happening right now, and they are not the egotism of YouTube. Okay. Good. Like I said. My issue is with the platform, not with the people. The people, they could be that, or they could be whatever. I just think that hey bro, feel like having me on for 15 minutes? I do got to go to bed sooner or later. Oh yeah, dude, I gotta go to bed right now, man. I had a fucking long ass day. If I jump back on, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let's think about the weekend or something. Cause I'll talk to you about this. I'll talk about this. I think this is a good thing to talk about. Cool, let's hang out. Your instincts are 100% correct, though. I think so. Thank you. Well, YouTube is not like TV broadcasting, which was imbued with authority. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's the problem. And the false authority of television, with the magic of the, well, it's on television, so it must have some authority. That was a problem. This is worse because on television you had to get I was gonna say signed by a record label. God, I'm tired. You had to get like on. You had to be invited on, or you had to sign a contract with a network or something. They had to give you a show, and you had to be worth something to get on. At least in terms of your personality, not because you were anything special. But TV sucks. This is worse because anybody can just push a button and do the same shit. But here I go repeating myself again. But have all this credibility because they're the everyman or they're the regular bro. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. This is all bull. Not you, not me, not. But this, it's bullshit, and it's so susceptible to bullshit. Poor Stan. He's had a long day and wants to throw the YouTube pundits in the. No, not the pundits. I don't care about this. This is the important distinction. And this is when this clicked with me. This is when I decided to talk about this. It's got nothing to do with the pundits. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with Davis. It's got nothing to do with Sargon of Akkad. Forget about that. Forget about nothing to do with who they are or what they say. The platform itself, the perception, the way that people think about how this is, the fact that this is being broadcast and transmitted. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. This is why it's bad. This is why a lot of why these problems are happening. Anyway, there you go. There you go. This is Stand in Stan, and I will talk to you guys later. Davis, let's hook up. We'll figure out where to do it. God, it's real bad. Acid reflux thing. Yeah, for sure, dude. I'll be in touch. I'm gonna delete my Twitter, but before I do that, I'll just message you on YouTube or whatever, or something, because Twitter's the worst thing. Twitter's worse than anything. It's worse than any of this. All right, bye guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me express this. All right, peace out.